Welcome everyone to the first episode of the Maronite faith. In this program, we're going to basically explain our Maronite history and heritage, and every episode is going to deal with a certain question. The episodes are going to be short, between 5 to 10 minutes, and they will deal with a historical or a heritage question about the faith or a biblical question that we treat. The first episode is, of course, titled, "Why are we called Maronites? Where did that name come from?" In order to understand this, we need to understand two things: the city of Antioch and also the church councils. In the Bible, it is mentioned in Acts chapter 11, verse 26, that it was in Antioch that the disciples were first called Christians. So in that city of Antioch, there was a community of Christians living there from the very early days of Christianity. It is said that the first bishop of Antioch was St. Peter himself. So this community grew in faith, and in other cities as well, there were other Christian communities. Naturally, theological conflict arose. How do we solve this problem? What is the real nature of Christ? Well, who is the Holy Spirit? Deep questions like that could not be answered by one community in one city. What the church had decided is that they would all meet in something called a council, and they will solve this problem. And that's what happened. First council, second council, third council, then came the fourth council of the church, which is the one that's important for us, the Maronites. Reason being is in that council, called the Council of Chalcedon, because it happened in the city of Chalcedon, after the first three councils, the Christians remained united. But after the fourth council, the Council of Chalcedon, some did not agree with the decisions of that council. The main decisions of this council was that Christ had two natures, and that's our faith. Christ has two natures, one divine and one human. Full natures, fully divine and fully human, but in one person. So that's basically, in summary, the teaching of that council. Some Christians did not agree on the wording of these of the terms of this council, and therefore they split. In the city of Antioch, it was a gray area. Some were with, some were against. The Maronites were with the council. They wanted to remain in their faith, in the actual teachings of the Catholic Church. So they remained within the teachings of that council. So what happened is, at that time, there was a monk that had died years ago before the council, about 40 years before the council, in year 410. That monk's name was Maron, as we pronounce it in the United States, or Maroon, as it's pronounced in Australia in English. In Lebanon, we pronounce it Maroon, so it's Maroon, the name that we adopt in here. This monk had lived all his life in an ascetic way. He was a holy man, and God gave him the gift of healing. We will be doing a full episode about Saint Maron in the future. So basically, like all the monks in ancient time, a community of monks was developed around where that monk had lived. And those monks of Saint Maron decided that it is their duty to keep on teaching the teaching of the church, to remain faithful to it, and therefore to teach the decisions of the Chalcedon Council. The people that adopted that teaching were called the Maronites because they followed the teachings of those monks that were basically spreading the faith. With time, persecution increased on that community especially. And also, with time, Constantinople could no longer elect a bishop for Antioch. Antioch remained for many years without a bishop, until this community of Christians, still adhering to the faith of the Catholic Church, decided and took the most important decision in their history, which is to stop waiting for Constantinople to elect a bishop for them. They themselves elected a patriarch for their church. And Rome agreed on their election, made it legal. And since then, the Maronites elect their own patriarch. And the patriarch, to keep with the faith that their community started in the city of Antioch, and because it is believed that Saint Peter himself was the first bishop of Antioch, we always add the name Peter to the name of the patriarch that we elect. And that has been a tradition from the start of the church. So our current bishop, our current patriarch, we call him Marbshara Butrus Al-Ra'i. The patriarch before him, Nasrallah Butrus Sfair. We always add Butrus, which is Peter in Arabic, in the middle as a middle name for any patriarch of our church, to really remain faithful to our heritage, that this patriarch that we have elected is descendant from the first patriarch, who is Saint Peter, the first patriarch basically, or bishop of the city of Antioch. So in summary, why are we called Maronites? Because we wanted to continue our faith, our lineage with the Church of Rome, with the Catholic Church, to remain faithful to the teachings of the Church, especially in that council, the Chalcedon Council. When the church in Antioch split, are we with? Are we against? We decided to remain with the church and with its teaching. And the people that had basically spread that faith were the monks of Saint Maron. Because they were the monks of Saint Maron, they were called the Maronites. After a while, all the people that believed in that faith were called the Maronites, and we still, up to today, carry that name. I hope that I was able to answer this question. And remember, if you have any questions in this show, you can send an email to askamaronite, all one word, askamaronite, M-A-R-O-N-I-T-E, askamaronite@hotmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. I'll be looking forward to seeing you in the next episode, and may God bless you always.